Hi everybody, I'm Andy Wike, and I'm here today to bring you a very special episode of All Pipes Considered. We're here on location at the Kapp Peterson factory in Dublin, and we're here to talk about a very special release, the revival of the 309 system pipe. All right, so we did a little walkthrough to the factory, and now I'm sitting down with my good friend, Glen Whelan. Glen, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Andy. Great to have you here in Dublin again.
Thanks so much, man. Yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much for all the hospitality.
That's what we're famous for.
That's true. That's true. And my, is it good. But yeah, so let's chat about this, right? So we're about to relaunch the System 309.
Yeah.
Okay, so also known as the 4S in the deluxe system line. This is like one of the original patent shapes, am I right in that?
Yeah, like this has been around since we had the 1896 catalogue,
yeah,
which had 10 straight billiards, they called them,
yeah,
in that catalogue. And it's almost been a shape. It was around for 120 years almost before it was discontinued in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And even when it was discontinued, it almost felt like it was almost a crazy decision to remove such a famous Dutch billiard shape from the catalogue. Like its little brother hung around and it's still there, the 313, or the 338 in the classic shape catalogue. Mm-hmm. But I think we almost teased the return of this shape a couple of years back with the Pipe of the Year when we did the 4AB.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of set the precedent then for this to follow.
Yeah, so 160 years, I mean, like what a great time to reintroduce, to revive one of the shapes that really established the lexicon and the house style of Peterson, right? The straight bowled billiard, the tall billiard. I think it's just such a great shape. This was Basil Rathbone's preferred pipe in the last 10 Sherlock Holmes films by Universal.
Yeah, and I think it also just shows how storied Peterson's history is, that we can still take inspiration from history 120 years ago.
Right.
And we're still getting what are shapes that people want. It just goes to show you that classic never goes out of fashion.
That's true. Timeless, yeah, timeless. So what sort of precipitated, line extending the system range this year?
So I think over the past 6 years, we've kind of wanted Pipe of the Year to be a relaunch of an old shape, or just harken back to that classic Peterson aesthetic. Mm-hmm. And as I said previously, we teased this shape.
Right.
And once we saw the response to that, we just knew
people wanted it back, right?
We all wanted it back. Obviously, like briar supply and things like that, we have to. We're at the mercy of raw materials. But the stars seem to be aligning a bit more perfectly now, and it just seemed like the optimum time to do it.
Okay, yeah, so before it was discontinued, it existed in the line as the XL339, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had the 338 as its little brother, also the 313 or the 8S Deluxe system. And then we have this reintroduced, which will be the 4S Deluxe and the 309 in the system range. I think for now we'll focus on just reintroducing this shape into the system catalogue, and then hopefully down the road we'll see it back in the classic shape chart. But I think the kind of demand is in the system for this shape.
For sure. I mean, one of the original patent pipes from the 1896 catalog, I think it has to be a system when you bring it back, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So when it came to reintroducing the shape, what did that look like as far as R&D goes?
So R&D, even if it is a shape that we're simply reviving, we still put it through the same steps that we would even if it was a brand new shape. So usually it involves, we bring Giacomo in, we bring Jonathan in, and we bring Jason, who's the lead silversmith, in as well. So we want their guys' feedback straight away. Once they've given the feedback, we can usually fine tune if there's any changes that need to be made. But usually then we'll have Giacomo make a ball from block. That'll go into the factory, and it'll just go the normal processes throughout the factory. So one of the biggest contributors here in the execution and redevelopment of any new shape is Giacomo. Giacomo was key when we do any research and development on new shapes, redesigns of old shapes, and then the reintroduction. So Giacomo is a key player when it comes to that kind of stuff.
The 309 shape is one of the most iconic shape in the Peterson chart, and also one of my favorite shape. I push a little to remake this shape because I think it's the most iconic Peterson shape. It's very versatile for all our series, for classic, for system, for deluxe. So it was something that I think we really miss in our production shape chart. And I think many customers were looking forward to see this shape again in our catalog.
Right, because the like first redesign of the shape was for the Pipe of the Year a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
For the 4AB, right?
Yeah.
And so I imagine like when you were doing that Pipe of the Year, you probably sort of had it in your mind, like, oh, we're gonna do this again, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I start from the block. I make few samples, and then we talk about the details of the shape, like the angle of the shank, the dimension, and so on. And I think we made the perfect revival shape for the 309.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's also one of my favorites. I know plenty of the Peak geeks out there. It's also a favorite of theirs too. So super excited to see it come back into the system standard and deluxe system lines. So anything else that you want people to know about this shape?
It's the pipe of the thinking man. So it's the pipe that everybody should have in his collection.
I think that people don't realize how much all of the artisans have to adapt to every single block that comes through, right?
Yeah, like no two pipes are the same.
Right.
Like, and it goes for how a mouthpiece is fitted to the shank. It's especially true when it comes to mounting.
I imagine,
We have our silver sizes usually go in 1/4 mil increments, so that'll tell you the kind of variances, how small they can be.
Yeah.
But it's why we always say every pipe is unique. We are a factory. We make factory pipes, but they're still made by hand. We just have more people, and we have lines of people which make them by hand.
Yeah, and with this being the 160th anniversary of Peterson, one other thing that I have observed is that there has been some modernizing, here and there, but for the most part, all the steps are kind of the same as they've been for 160 years.
Yeah, like the machines continue to get older, but it's just like the people who are operating them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We just rotate in every 40 years or so with people. But yeah, it's almost impossible to change these processes.
Sure.
Save using robots, which we don't want to use, obviously.
Yeah, let's not do that. Yeah.
It's a handmade product, and handmade products over the years have been made the same way. They continue to be made the same way.
That's the tradition. That's the legacy of Peterson.
That's the heritage.
I really love this shape. I am really happy to see it reintroduced into the system line and the deluxe system line. Thank you so much for doing this interview and for chatting with us, and of course all the Irish hospitality. You gotta appreciate that. So
well reciprocated when we go to the US as well. So it's mutual.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, Glen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Yeah. So there you have it. It's Peterson's 160th anniversary, and to celebrate this, they've created and revived a new system shape, the 309 in the system standard range, and the 4S in the deluxe system. Be sure to check them out now on site and find your favorite today.